Okay, team. So this is Robert Porter, and I'm going to do a little Mega Art lesson here for the need of Mega Art. Right now we're looking at McKinley Mountain, right above San Manuel right here. I guess the first thing I should do is try to explain what I'm looking at, and that I understand that there's a lot of hills there, and there's like a mountain there, and they are all over the whole planet, right? So why are these any different? Well, these ones have actually been altered to mimic a song or a written language, and the images have been built into the landscapes to teach history and obviously to preserve a history. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that instead of writing in books, they chose to write in the hills, in their gardens. And these gardens serve multiple purposes. They're elevationally timed, so you need less manpower to harvest when you're following a crop up elevationally. Also, if you're telling the kids where to harvest, what better place to go than exactly what area is a piece of art, and you send them to that piece, or a place to hunt, or a place to travel to when you're looking at it from far away, like a sign. So there's multiple explanations and reasons for this art to exist. It's mounding. It's plants planted in grids that form the images. So I'm sure they had to use survey method. I'm sure they probably had to have people down below and people up high looking down to make sure that they're planting the plants and moving the earth in the right areas. And this didn't happen overnight, team. There are multiple songs all the way along the whole range. There's songs behind Cal State, behind Seven Oaks area. There's songs on Arrowhead Peak. There's songs right here on McKinley Mountain. So that takes a lot of time to do, a lot of earth moving. That's probably why it seems so unrealistic. But it's true, it's there. And just like any other piece of land that a human, sits on for a long time, they alter it. And that's what humans do. They alter it to benefit them. So I'm going to show you how to look at some of this. And I know I haven't moved as much, but I really wanted to let you know where I'm coming from. So here we go. All right, let's work this out. So first of all, we're looking directly here at McKinley Mountain. So the first thing I'm going to show y'all is kind of what led me to looking at McKinley Mountain in the first place. So, all right. It's right over here in this area, right here, right? So if you're looking from down below in the valley up towards McKinley Mountain here in this area, you see this as a yoni, or a vagina, and it's giving birth to what I think is a little wildcat, or a baby jaguar, the chief. But anyways, so I was just looking at that, and it's right here. The little cat looks like it's coming out here. Its eyes right there, its ears right there, its nose, and it's coming out that way. But anyways, that's just why I was looking in this place in the first place on Google Earth. And then I was looking in this area, but I'm not going to turn it. But if you turn it and you look at this area from straight on, well, let me see if I can try to do it. Sometimes this isn't hard because sometimes this is hard because you can't see everything from one angle. You have to move around. So let's move this way. Let's see if we can see. So there, I can't really bring it out, but I'll have to look at that later. But I guess it's right here. That's where it is. There's like an image right here. So like the nose is right here, eye, but it's like hard to see. But then it like looks up. Now, don't worry about this. I'm going to show you the image so you can actually see it, and then we'll find that guy looking up another time. But so this, he was looking up, and it was the creator looking up, and I saw this angle right here. Right? I see this angle. So I was like, oh, there's another yoni right there, right? So like I see this angle. Like what angle? This angle right here. This perfectly straight line. And then this one that comes here. So I seen that angle. Like, wow, that's weird. That's a cool angle, right? So then I started looking at it a little more. And I'm like, oh, there's more angles there. So I was like, oh, there's an angle right here. Look at, there's an angle. Interesting. All right. Oh, there's another angle. So this is the top of the mountain, right? So it's going down too. So this is an angle, right? This is an angle here. Right? So I was like, wow. So this is meant to have been seen from up high down towards it. So you have to be able to see kind of both sides of this hill, which is really hard. I was pulling out from Google Earth, and I don't know if I was looking from Palomar Mountain, possibly. I mean, that's super far away, but these images are so huge that, like, imagine like a TV set, right? So you got a TV set, and the pixels, if you look at it all close, like the pixels are all big, or you blow up an image of a photograph and the pixelation happens, right? But when you get really far away, the pixels get smaller and the art becomes more detailed. So I'm not totally sure if you see this image here from Palomar Mountain or from San Bernardino Mountain or San Gauchina, but it has to be somewhere high because this is the top of McKinley Mountain and looking down at it at an angle, not straight down, not like people say that, oh, it's only for aliens or, up in the sky only. No. This is meant to teach, so it has to be able to be seen from at least some peak somewhere or some plateau or some hill. So let's do the all ruler. We'll do the all ruler here. So the all ruler. Now, bear with me, team. This is going to be watched by a lot of people over time. I'm not trying to rush at all. So this is the all ruler. It's his eyes. So his one eye is right here. His other eye is right here, right? One eye. But this isn't just right here. This one is not just his, at that where it would be his left eye. It's also his right eye. Now, why would they make a multiple eye? Well, because it gives the art movement, right? So when you're looking at it, sometimes it looks like he's looking one way, and sometimes it looks like he's looking the other way. And why does it do that? Well, that's telling the story. That's the song movement of what to do. So his eye's right there. His other eye's over there, and his other eye's over there. So let's go out again. It's not totally easy to see, but we're going to follow it one more time here. All right. So, circle. Here's a circle. Goes around. Here's a ray. Here's an eye. Here's a ray, right? The top ray. Here's his beard right here. Beardy ray. I'm not sure if that's a beard. Probably his tattoos team. Not too many beards around here, but there was lots of tattooing of the chin area, so I think this could be a tattoo. His nose is right there. It's a blatant nose. So we'll take a close look at the nose. See, it's like comes around. It's a blatant nose. It's a beautiful nose, and the mouth right there. Beautiful mouth. I mean, oh, wow, beautiful. All right, so I get in awe of it all the time, and you guys are probably even seeing it, right? So let's try it again. Let's try it again. All right, circle, ray, 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 another ray. All right. There's not the ray over here. It comes down, but it's not. It's a lighter ray, right? Because when he's looking this way, what he's doing is he's this area is getting the drought, the searing drought area, right? So what really kind of sparked my interest when I looked here as an earth mover. I mean, I've been moving earth my whole life. And then as an archaeologist, I watched whole mountains get moved. And, a few of them have guitar centers on top of them, things like that. Well, I found these lines here. So look at with me here, team. See this line, right? This mound of line right here. There's another one. Almost looks like an arrow pointing this way. The line of mound, right? That kind of mounding is rare in that angle, because like if water flowed down it obliterate it and rush down, it's like, but what was done is they did the irrigation on these mounds so well that it follows his line right here and probably watered certain crops. But anyways, these two lines that look like it's pointing is actually arms stretched out. So Nawana's laying there, right? Her arm is laid out this way, her arm's laid out this way. Now, so this is the thing, team. It may not be Nawana. I'm starting to think that it's this Mother Earth herself. Because if this is the all ruler, where's, like, the Mother Earth has to be somewhere. And I'm not totally sure, but what kind of makes me think it could possibly be Mother Earth? So here's an arm. The head is right here in green plants. And there's an eye there, and a nose there. It's kind of hard to see that one. It looks like it's really overgrown in there. But the coolest part, and I guess that matches a story for me that's interesting, is that there is this line right here. See this line? Line there. And then there's a line here all the way along. Well, you have a line, yeah, this line right here. Oh, that's just where a tractor cut. I don't know. That's where the bulldozer went down, right? I hear everything from the geologists and archaeologists. I mean, I've heard it all. But what that line is where they cut her from her hoo-ha to her belly button, right? And it was like the mentioning in the story of I think it's a cesarean section. I'm still not sure if she survived that or not, but if she did, it's an explanation for type of surgery. But I haven't proven that yet. I don't know. It's just that is total conjecture. But still interesting for me that this is flowing right off of this all ruler here. Circle, eye, ray, 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 ray. Looking this way. And then the belly's right here, booby area, and then arms and head. All right, so I seen that, and I'm like, wow, that's very interesting, the mounding. So I'm like, oh, there. So if that is all ruler, I mean, I found a sun team, a sun, like, wow, that is in Aztec and Mayan and Inca, the sun, we all know the sun's incredible. And then to have the sun right here look like the inside of a cottonwood twig branch. Like, I'm serious, team. Cut a cottonwood twig branch, and you'll see a picture of that sun right there. That star is right in the twig. It's amazing. It's very similar to that exact shape. So then I'm like, all right, if this is a legend of the Arrowhead, and at this point, I'm starting to see a lot of things around there. The main one I saw that's very interesting to me is this right here at the top. So this to me, looked like a big horned sheep when I looked at it from far away, right? So the big horned sheep this is the horn, the head's right here, the body comes along, right? Here's the body, right? But I'm like, it's all messed up right here. So I was like, oh, that can't be a bighorn sheep, but it is a bighorn sheep because there's the muzzle, right? There's the curled horn. It's a double curled horn. I mean, that's serious. The other horn comes this way, right? So I was like, wait. I'm like, whoa, that looks like a snake too, right? So if you look at it again, you'll see that this is the viper head, a triangle viper head right here. Triangle, like a diamond, right? You see that. His little tongue comes out. Then he's striking. He's in the strike mode, so he's curled right there, comes down. Then I was like, oh, there's another snake right here. Eye, head. His body comes this way, but it stops. I'm like, why does his body stop right there? That's weird. And he's got his tongue sticking out. And I'm like, oh. I go, oh, maybe because maybe it's falling off or something. So I was like, well, there's definitely something there. That's the top of the hill. It looks like a bighorn sheep with the head falling off, so that's probably something important. And that's what I'm saying when I found this. So then I'm like, all right, if this is a legend of the Arrowhead, and that is some kind of beast being slayed, right? Then there has to be heaps of bones. That's what I remember the most from that legend of the Arrowhead, is that there were, the all-ruler sent the destroyer who slurped all the water from the streams and left heaps of bones, right? And ate the crops and things, right? So, where's the heaps of bones, right? So I'm like, well, it's got to be somewhere near the all-ruler, right? Right here, right? So there's his eye. So I always look for his eye first, or his nose right here, and then it says, keep looking. There's his chin. There's the other ray, right? And I'm like, oh, where's the heaps of bones? It's got to be somewhere close to him. So he's looking over here, so I'm assuming that there may be heaps of bones in this area right here. So I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it, and what I saw, see this tiny black dot right there? That tiny one, right? You're like, what? Yeah, that tiny dot. I'll zoom in now. Ooh, see that tiny black dot? All right. So I'm like, could that be an eye, right? It's probably Nirvana's belly or Mother Earth's belly button when she's laying there, but it's also an eye, right? So, because this art has multiple pieces fit multiple forms. So here is the heaps of bones, and it's kind of hard to see. But if you imagine that little black dot is the eye, right? Then this right here, this white area, that's the skull. That around the eye is a skull. His arm comes down here. There's a round area right here of white. This area. And two legs. So that's his rib cage area. And two legs coming down, right? And then if you really look closely, you'll see that this turns into a face where his rib cage is supposed to be. Eye, nose. So I'm like, oh, interesting. There's a skeleton there. Well, what does a skeleton represent, right? A skeleton would represent heaps of bones. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I've found several images that I believe represent pieces of legends of the Arrowhead. So I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I found the heaps of bones. Okay, so where's the arrowhead? There has to be an arrowhead. There has to be. And I knew that the people would understand that an arrowhead better than anything because it's easy to see and we have the huge arrowhead on Arrowhead. So I'm like, there has to be arrowheads. And then right when I said this, they just pop out at me. And this arrow, right, the white arrow of light popped out at me first, right? So the white arrow of light is right here. It comes out of the all-seer. So the all-seer is here, his eye, his nose, here's his rays, right? And then out the bottom of him comes this arrow. it's a cottonwood triangular, right? So it comes up here. This is the angle. This is the angle, and then it comes around like this. It almost looks like a shark tooth right there. You see that angle right there? Like a shark tooth, right? That's super cool. I mean, that's just incredible to me, right? So like that looks like a cottonwood triangular that I've been finding in the deserts and occasionally around here for a long time, right? So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Right? So then I noticed this arrow over here. All right, so this is the arrow over here. It comes. This is the base of it, but it's at the top. Comes around here. This is a side notch. This is a side notch. I mean the bottom notch. This is a side notch, and this is a side notch, and this is the very base. So it's side notches here, and it comes around, and it's jagged. Why? Well, they want it to look like obsidian. I mean, of course they do. It's a beautiful stone. So, and like, don't get lost on this, team. This thing is made of a forest, right? Just grasp that. This giant arrowhead is made of a forest. So, okay, so as it comes down, here's the tip right here, right? But, so you can also, though, look at the tip is right here as well. An arrow of light coming down, right? Comes up. See, this way, when it goes around and it becomes this bottom part here, it goes up. That way, to me, it looks more like a wand, right? Like, what do you mean a wand? Well, a wand was a ceremonial object that they would hold, and at the top there usually was a crystal. So it does kind of look like a wand too, but it's also an arrow, because that point is blatant. And I have found obsidian points, side notches, that look exactly like this, with this length and everything. So it's coming down out of the sky, and remember I told you that this like bighorn sheep was here, right? So here's his horn, here's his muzzle here, another horn here, and his body comes this way. Here's his tail, his leg comes down, right? Well, the arrow's going right through him. So I'm assuming that the sheep, the bighorn sheep, has something to do with the destroyer, right? That has been sent by the All-Ruler. But also, the destroyer is a serpent, so you got the snakes on there, right? The slithering serpents, right? But the crazy, interesting part to me is that, like, it's more than that, team. Like, and I don't know if it's really hard to show here, but like, there's actually a coyote coming down here, right? So the nose is right here, the eye is right here, and the head's right here, mouth is there, and it's a head, and it's looking down that way, and he's wearing this snake head, but he's being severed too. Well, why does it look weird like that? And then the rest of the body comes down here. It's this right here, all this brown area. And they're like, well, that don't really look like a coyote. It's a coyote pelt, team. It's a coyote pelt. So what happened is the arrowhead, this is what I believe happened, and this is what I'm kind of seeing, is the arrowheads hit the destroyer and severed it, and then coyote, or coyote's pelt, flows down into the valley and becomes the water in the streams, and everything's becomes better. Why do I think coyote flows down into there? Well, there's another image of it's like a spirit, ghostly type image, and it's upside down here. So let's look at that, team. Here's the eye right here in the top of the head. And here's the arm going this way, and here's another arm going this way, right? And at the tip of this arm right here is a little baby looking jaguar kitten anyways, but right here, end of his arm, and then the body comes up this way, right? And it's like flowing, this man is like flowing down into the ground there. So that's like the new water, and all, the water's flowing again after this whole ordeal of the legend of the Arrowhead, where the chief has to sacrifice his own daughter for the good of the whole tribe, and because they had not observed proper religious ceremonies and stuff, I guess, for a while, and the all ruler had become upset. So this is one area. So this is the end area over here, team. Right? That's the end area. So the more beginning areas, I think over here, right? So I think how you read the sun is you read it around like this, from ray to ray, and that's how the story goes. But I'm not totally positive about that. I'm going to have to keep working on that. Let's move up into the area where the chief has to, actually I want to show you where they're speaking. Okay. So let's find. So I looked at the end. So the arrowhead of light comes down here, right? Then right here, it's kind of hard to see. It really is. Okay. There's actually a face here, a face here, and a face here, and a face here, right? And these faces, you can kind of see this one. You see the eye right here? There's an eye, a nose, and a mouth, right? There's faces there. There's another one there, right? And the faces, what they're doing is all those faces, they're talking. They're meeting, right? They're meeting about the drought and what they're going to do, right? If they're going to sacrifice what they're going to do. And how do I know that they're meeting there? Well, the faces are all looking at each other, and you're going to have to take your own time to look in this canyon and have the faces pop out at you, but they are there. But the really beautiful part is this right here, team. This little thing right here. Well, guess what that is? That represents our arrowhead on Arrowhead Peak, right? So the chiefs are talking here to each other at Arrowhead Peak, right? That's what the arrowhead looks like if you look at it from an angle at the side. It looks almost like a lightning bolt. But it does have the arrow-ish look right there. And that's Arrowhead Peak where they're meeting to talk. So for me, that's like a location. That's super cool that arrowhead represents where they met to talk about if they were going to or sacrifice Nirvana. And I mean, it was a sad time. So that's a cool representation of the arrowhead. I know it looks small. It's like, oh, that's just in the corner. But like, you have to follow the whole song to understand what's going on here. And if you really look at it, team, it's also another arrowhead right there. Or, right, you see it right there? Or it's another type of wand. And the crystal's up there. Kind of looks like one, but that represents that they were speaking at the arrowhead. I don't know how I know this so exactly, but I just know it. I can see that they're talking there. I read the legend, and that's what they did. So it's kind of cool that it's like that. Okay, let's go to another area that looks kind of cool. All right, let's come up here. Right, so the first thing I noticed up here was this white area right here. So I'm like, man, that's almost looks like a moon rising, right there. So pretty. But it's like not totally round. Oh, there's the moon. I was like, oh, there's the moon right there, right? So if you look at it real close, it's round right here. It's like, oh, the moon's like, and then I saw it. That was a basket. I was like, oh, that's a basket. right? So this is a white bear wearing a basket. So there's a bear's eye. All right, let's move in. There's the bear's eye right there. There's his ear, or her ear. There's her nose, her mouth, and like the muzzle comes down, right? So she's right there, and she's wearing a basket, right? So let's go way out so you can see her face. Look at the little bear there wearing a basket. Isn't that cool? Little bear wearing a basket right there. And you can almost, if you come in really close, team, you can see right here, you can see the base of the basket, right? See that base? And almost looks like there's round image going around it, right? So the base of the basket, like that's just what's cool to me to see that there. Okay, so you have the bear and you have the basket, and then I seen this beautiful, what looked like pine tree come out of the top of the basket. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So let's take a look at it. So here's the pine tree. So the pine tree comes out of the top of the basket. It comes right up like this. This is the tip of the pine tree. It comes down. Here's one branch. Here's another branch. It comes out like this. But let's move way back. Now you can see it really good. I mean, it's like, you know, not even Bob Ross could draw a beautiful pine tree like that. It's good on the mountain, man. Coming straight out of a basket on top of a white bear's head that could possibly represent the Moon Maiden. So I was like, wow, that's super cool. That's super cool. Okay, well, there's a pine tree there. What's that white stuff up there? Like up at the top, looks like there's some white stuff. I'm like, oh wait, that kind of looks like a mountain. Yeah, it does. So like if you look at this, it's a mountain, and then there's another mountain, and then this other mountain here. And I'm like, wow, the mountains kind of look like Mount San Bernardino and Mount San Antonio. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But they could just be mountains, but every single thing here has represented something. So I'd imagine that it's something around here, one of our main mountains. So you have the mountain there. I'm like, okay, whoa. And I was like, whoa, look at this. There's another moon, right? So the moon is right here. You see it coming out there, right? So here is the white bear. Here's the basket. Here's the tree, the pine tree. Here's the mountain. And here's the moon coming out the side. The moon, right? See the curve? It's coming out there, right? Well, it's also got like craters on it right there, right? The craters are on the moon. I do also see lines and stuff right here, so there might be another song where that's representative of a type of sun. I'm not sure. But right here, I'm pretty sure it's a moon because it's associated with this. So that's just beautiful. And like as an archaeologist, we always look for circles. Right? You see this half circle? Right? We always look for angles, right? So you want to see in the angles, there's, I'll show you angles, right? So here's the angles, like the arrowhead angle, right? This big one, angles, angle, that's it, right? That's a ray, right? Angle. Just beautiful work for me, team. I know maybe some of this seems a little bit confusing. It took me hours and hours and hours just to, identify a couple of these. So it's going to take time, but there's so much more. There's a lot closer type of art on the bigger images, right? So there's actually images on this arrowhead coming down, right? And well, what is that doing? Why is it coming down like that way, right? I believe in this area, it's showing that the drought is starting to, take away the crops and things like that here. These could be crops, these lines, but I'm not totally positive on this one. I know that these are crops here. These represent crops because this water comes down and feeds them all. These ones, I think, are the crops that are being decimated and going away. And why I see that is because I personally see that the destroyer coming down this way out of the all ruler. His horns right here, another horns right here, eye, nose, and it almost looks like a bighorn sheep skull to me. But yeah, the all ruler's sending the destroyer down in that arrowhead to talk to him. But that's the first sequence in the song. And where I also saw something cool is right here. See along this right here, it almost looks like a fish. See this? It's like chilling right there. So I don't know if that's a fish, but that is like where it says that the drought drank from all the streams and things like that. So maybe that's what that represents there. This tiny little fish right here. All right, team. Well, I know I probably talked your ear off. I'll leave you with the all ruler one more time, and there's a lot more here, but I'm kind of tired. But I'll leave you with the all ruler so we can try this one more time. Here he is. His eyes right here. His nose. Angle. 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 And he's looking this way. Here's the arrowhead. Here's the arrowhead right here. And here's the other arrowhead, right? Coming down here, this green one. All right, well, there's today's lessons, team. I hope you learned something. I hope you don't think I'm totally nuts. This is hard. It's not easy to read a language, especially one that's written in images that there's very little history left to help me in deciphering them. But I hope you gathered a little bit, and I hope you look for your own as well, team. I mean, I explained that there's lots of songs here, team. There's lots of songs, and if you study them, you may be able to bring some of them back and reverse engineer them into the language that best suits the Southern California culture area. So have a wonderful day, team. And this is Robert Porter right here with Newana, the bear. And we are at it.